The Paige Christie Show. I talk with the celebrity, that's the drama like it's us. Paige Christie Show. We don't spill tea, we drink it. Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Hi guys, what is up? What is good? What is Gucci? It is your girl Paige Christie here, bringing you yet another podcast. I know it has been a month since we have been here, and quite a lot has taken place, quite frankly. This is just going to be like a little bit more of a relaxed episode, but quite a lot has taken place. A lot of it is going to be in my vlog, which you guys will see in the Patreon. It should be up the moment that this has gone up, so you guys should have that on the Patreon at present. But you'll get clued in over there as to what's been going on and why I've been so far away. But let's just say mental health needs a break sometimes, and I definitely needed that break. So I'm glad that you guys have waited for me. Those of you who are actually here, I'm literally talking to a camera in my studio, and I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm glad you guys have come back. I don't know if anyone's gonna come back. There could be two of you, but even if there is only two, I'm grateful for both of you. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of the Paige Christie Show. My husband isn't here today, so I'll be doing the podcast all by myself. I don't know if it's gonna be something you guys enjoy, but hopefully it will do. I'm trying not to be nervous about this, but I am. I'm really nervous because I don't know if I can do it by myself, which is so funny because originally when I started like, oh, I'm going to do this thing, in my head I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to do it by myself. But like now that I've got him to fall back on, it's kind of like, oh, I have to just like talk by myself. Like I haven't been doing this for years. But here we are. Anyway, long ass introduction. Today we've got quite a lot to discuss. We are going to be talking about Nicki Minaj and how her crazy ass fans are finally turning on her. We're also going to be talking about Bonnie Blue and her weird ass interview it is that she had alongside Andrew Tate, which was, to me, just kind of like you wouldn't expect these two characters to actually get together and have a conversation and, you know, enjoy each other's company. But that's exactly what ended up happening. We're also going to be talking a little bit about Justin Bieber. He's just released an album and how that's all going on. And lastly, we are going to be talking about Ethan Klein and his lawsuits. I know a lot of people have been asking me because, you know, I'm like Ethan Klein's #1 hater. A lot of people have been asking, hey, Paige, what are your thoughts on Ethan Klein? Because I have decidedly kept my mouth closed for like pretty much all of the Ethan Klein drama that's been going on at present, besides like, you know, the odd tweet here and there. But a lot of you guys want to know what my thoughts are on the present lawsuits that he has been handing out here, there, and everywhere. You get a lawsuit, you get a lawsuit, you get a lawsuit. But those are all of the topics it is that I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys will enjoy a solo show. So without further ado, let's get straight into the first topic. Okay, so first of all, let's start with Bonnie Blue. Now, if you do not know who Bonnie Blue is, let me break it down for you because I feel like you need to have a little bit of an insight into who Bonnie Blue is before we actually get into what has taken place. So this is just a quick TLDR. You can skip it if you want. Bonnie Blue, whose real name is Tia Emma Bellinger, is a British adult content creator who has basically become the poster child for there is no such thing as bad publicity. Born in 1999 in Stapleford, Nottinghamshire, she did not start out planning to be famous for jaw-dropping stunts, as she was actually a recruitment consultant at first. But in 2023, she started webcam modeling and made about $5,000 in a week and thought, well, that was easy. So she dove headfirst into OnlyFans, and by 2025, she had racked up over 800,000 followers on Instagram and a similar amount on OnlyFans. Now, we have to remember that OnlyFans can mean a lot of bread, and 800,000 people on OnlyFans, girl, millions that woman is taking home. Now, think about it. If all 800,000 of these people are paying £5 per month, that's crazy money. That's crazy money. But scared money don't make money. And Bonnie Blue knew that for sure. Because Bonnie Blue isn't just known as just like an OnlyFans creator. She's also known for doing record-breaking stunts. In January 2025, she claimed to have had sex with over 1,057 men in 12 hours. Yep. You heard that right. That would be correct. A record that was only recently smashed by her ex-best friend, a girl called Lily, but we won't talk too much about her. I think she just did 1,100 and something more recently. Never in my life did I think that sleeping with over 1,000 men would become an Olympic sport, but here we are. But unsurprisingly, this record-breaking event that Bonnie Blue hosted definitely caused a lot of eyes to go onto Bonnie Blue. She gained a level of virality from it. She's even announced more recently that she would like to do an even bigger event of doing over 2,000 men in one day. An event that she wanted to dub as a petting zoo, which her whole idea was that all of these men could come around and do whatever they wanted to her, which is, I don't know, for me that's a dangerous precedent to set to men who tend to do whatever they want to women at all times. Anyway, but I digress. But this announcement of this stunt was so controversial that Bonnie Blue actually ended up getting suspended or banned, I'm not quite sure which one it is, from the application and was no longer able to make money from that. So as you can imagine, Bonnie Blue is now looking for various different other income streams. I don't know what the situation is, if she's, building her very own website where she can set the rules, if she wants to create some kind of management system for other, workers. I don't know what it is that she intends to do, but more recently what I have seen from Bonnie Blue is that she is now going on to numerous different podcasts. If you have a podcast and you call up Bonnie Blue and say, hey, can you come over to my podcast? 9 times out of 10 the bitch will say yes. I have seen her on literal podcasts where nobody is goddamn watching. People who are 1,000 views here and there, people like me, no one's really watching your podcast like that, sweetheart. And I've seen her go on to places like that in order to, tell her story, spread awareness, and keep her name in the news, keep her name in the cycle. And that's what it's all about. Again, no publicity is bad publicity with Bonnie Blue. However, more recently, there was a podcast that both Bonnie Blue and Andrew Tate decided to go onto. Now, this wasn't something it is that they planned together, mind you. This was just something that they decided to do individually. And I think the whole thing was two completely contrasting opinions. We all know who Andrew Tate is, Mr., macho man, the top G. Women shouldn't be allowed to vote. Women should just be in the kitchen. Women don't deserve rights. And if you're a woman who has slept with men prior to actually getting with him, you are a slut, because how dare you cheat on him before you knew he existed? That is very much the ethos of who Andrew Tate is. Very immature little dick energy.
I know women because I made a lot of money from women. Let me tell you something. I've been attacked plenty of times, and I've talked about this in another video already, but they are absolutely feeble. Even with a knife, they're useless. They ain't ready for the big man slap. I got a big hand. I'll bust their jaw with the bottom of my hand, and the top of their head will feel the sting from the fingers, the whole boom.
So because Andrew Tate has very contrasting views and opinions on, female sexual liberation and what it is that we're allowed to do and how far is too far, I suspect that the producers of this podcast were expecting the pair to clash on their ideas and ideals for life and the present climate and the lifestyle it is that we all live. However, the pair ended up coming together and ultimately agreeing on pretty much everything, with Andrew Tate possibly doing one of the most insane U-turns that I have ever seen on social media. For instance, when Andrew Tate was asked about how he feels about Bonnie Blue sleeping with over 1,000 men, he was like, well, at least she's honest about it. Some of these girls are out here sleeping and slutting it around with whoever it is that they want to sleep with, and will pretend to their partner, will pretend to their future husband like they're innocent and have never done anything. At least she's honest about it, and at least she's smart enough to get money for it, which kind of had me gagged.
Andrew, what do you think of Bonnie Blue sleeping with 1,057 men?
I don't understand why men sit here and try and lecture you about it. I don't understand why men sit here and say you shouldn't do it. It's your body, your choice, right? This is the world we now live in. This is the end result of feminism. You are the perfect end result of feminism. In the world I believe in the conservative, traditionally masculinely ruled world, a man would be in charge of his daughters until they're handed over to their husbands or boyfriends, and there would be a degree of masculine guidance. But feminism didn't want that. Women complain that men don't want to get married. We did actually want to get married when we got obedient virgins, but they disappeared, and they complained about the patriarchy, and they were tired of us giving them a house to live in and kids to raise, and they wanted to make their own choices. So she's making her own choice. That's a fantastic thing. I actually have a lot of respect for you because you own it and you're honest about it.
Like, Andrew Tate literally turns around and says that he doesn't want this for his own child, but he understands that she is a boss. And basically used Bonnie Blue as a symptom of society. Like, hey, we are doing like more debaucherous things day in and day out. And now it has got to this extent. You wanted this society, so here it is.
What if it was your daughter?
Well, that won't happen.
But she's her own person.
I never said my daughter's her own person. I said women want to be their own people. But my point is, women have then said, we don't like the patriarchy. We're tired of being provided for. We're tired of being taken care of. We don't want to listen to anybody. We want to make our own decisions. That was women and feminism that ended the traditional family unit. And now women can make their own decisions. So I'm glad that Bonnie's making her own decision.
Like, Bonnie Blue chimes in and says stuff like, sex is an exchange, that like ultimately women and men sleep with each other and it's a mutual exchange. Women gain that security and validation and all of that kind of stuff from their partner, and you know, men have, you know, the security of knowing that their woman is only for them in a monogamous relationship and all of that kind of stuff. So like, it's a mutual benefit. So whether you think you're selling sex or whether you don't think you're selling sex, you're ultimately constantly selling sex. And then Andrew Tate pretty much sweeps in and says stuff like, if you're a housewife and you have been, you know, sleeping with your husband for years and your bills are paid, you never have to worry about anything, you're not in financial ruin, you can do anything you want, you can go anywhere you want, you can have as multiple holidays, life is set, everything is perfect, then the that you provide your husband is transactional. The difference is that Bonnie Blue is monopolizing that. Ultimately, in numerous ways, women are sleeping with men for money. It's just that she's the one making money this time.
You get it's honest. I respect the honesty of it. And people are going to sit here, and there are people who do it. They're going to sit here and go, well, Bonnie Blue does is disgusting. Ain't that right, babe? Ain't that right, babe? And they'll hold Babe's hand, knowing that Babe's worse. Babe's a skank. They met her in a pub, three Jägermeisters in. She's prepared to that guy, whoever he is, who's a nobody. You're watching this at home, all you guys watching this at home, and you think your wife really loves you. Do you think I couldn't take your bitch? Of course I could.
I think
she chose you because she ain't met me, bruv. That's it.
He also goes on to say stuff like, women are mostly concerned with Bonnie Blue's modesty, but be doing some of the most unmodest things behind closed doors. It's easy to point the finger and call somebody a harlot when they are Bonnie Blue. But if the girl goes on a wild girls' party weekend in Blackpool and sleeps with 5 different men, she can walk away from that situation with nobody ever knowing.
If you're going to go to Dubai and meet a girlfriend, and you think she hasn't been for money the entire time she was living in Dubai, then you're an idiot. If you're in Miami and you got girls on your boat and you think they're not for money all of the time, now they may not say per hour, but they'll be a guy they barely like to get the rent paid, or they're a guy they barely like because he has a car.
Yeah.
So women are for money all the time anyway. That's all women do now. The entire Western world is women for money. So how hypocritical would it be for me to sit here and say, Bonnie, who is honest, who monetizes it directly with her own media empire, who's upfront about it and makes money from it, is a worse person than the girl who walks around like she's goody two-shoes and then sucks in a Magaluf toilet. Because that's what most girls are doing anyway.
Bonnie Blue goes on to point the finger back at society by saying, I am a clear example of what women have been fighting for all these years. I took control of my body.
I'm a clear example of what women have fought for years. Of
what?
Taking control of your body.
Correct.
Being independent. I earn my own money. I don't rely on a guy. I'm
Girl
paid
power.
more. Exactly. I'm paid more than other
100%.
guys.
100%.
Do you think
She is a clear example of what women have been fighting for years. Absolutely correct.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not here to
people
tell you not to
say
do it.
I take women back 100 years. I'm like, no, I'm the clear example of how to be empowered. I use my body. I do what I want when I want. And this is the thing you've been banging on about for years. And when I get hate, like when I click on the comments of these women that are like, oh, you're taking us back 100 years. Then in their bio, it says stay-at-home mom of 2. I'm thinking, what the fuck was you rooting for?
That's
because
right.
you have just stayed
That's
at
right,
home.
Bonnie. See, this is the future.
Which is quite interesting to me because it brings up the dynamic of, you know, the submissive and the dominant. And sometimes you can be in the most dominant position whilst being the person who submits. Like, for instance, the whole idea of a petting zoo You know, it sounds crazy. I know, like, everybody it sounds crazy, but at the same time, I also understand, like, where her mindset is at, where she believes that she controls the environment in which she gets touched. And there is a degree of control there on Bonnie's part. Bonnie states that what she does is educational. She allows men to have the experience of trial and error on her instead of doing things it is that they may have seen in, you know, pornography and it not work because they've never actually had the opportunity to try on a person. She actually sees what she's doing as like a public service.
And how does that help society?
Workers help like reduce rape rates by over 30%.
That sound like a stat you just made up.
No, Google it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And I also think it's educational. So I'm obsessed
How's
with
it educational?
You think about sex education at school. It's from a middle-aged teacher that's not been laid. And they basically say you have sex or you're probably going to die from an STD. There's no information. They don't know how to pleasure a girl. They've not touched a girl. They've just watched videos, you know, online where they're slapping, they're choking, they're hair pulling. And then they go to do it on a woman or a girl for the first time.
That's
She's
terrible.
probably going to cry the next day.
Yeah, you're probably going to get a criminal charge of that. You're probably going to get sued if that happens.
Probably talk from experience there. But like with me, I love educating them.
You
know, learn what
educate
they
your
like.
guys when you sleep with them.
Not all the time. Some of them are in their 80s and their wife's dead. Like they've been having sex for years, but some of them are 18 and haven't lost their virginity. They haven't been having sex. So I love lying there and saying, look, do whatever you want to me, trial and error. And if anything, I'm protecting women because then the next girl they sleep with, they know how to choke properly. They know how to slap. They know how to pleasure her. And also I give them such a safe environment.
I don't know where I am with that. I don't know if I'm too prude or what the situation is here. I'm very much like, you know, for workers, go do your thing. As an ex, you guys know my story. I used to be an escort once upon a time. Not long ago, I was a hoe. So for me personally, like I understand where her headspace is at, but at the same time, I'm like, oh wow. Because I'll tell you something. Let me give you guys like a quick situation, right? Because I would love to have Bonnie Blue on here, and I know I said that like she'll do an interview with literally everybody, and I should probably reach out. But like the reason I left the sex worker industry is because I lost control. And we're about to get into like a really like dark conversation, but I feel like this should be the place where I share shit with you. So like let me bring you back, right? This was, I don't know, I was 21 years old or something like that. 21. Yeah. I was 21. I was working as a sex worker. I was working in a brothel, and I had like a client who had come over and he was spending big. Like he had stacks and stacks and stacks of cash, which means that usually when somebody brings in stacks, it means that they are wanting to pay for extras and are more than willing to extend their time. So I was thinking to myself, Paige, get settled in. You might be here 8 hours plus. Usually those kind of clients are always sniffing some kind of. So usually when that happens, like in my head, I'm just kind of like, okay, we're going to be here a long time, because you know those kind of things can affect the way that a person can perform, right? So because I knew I was in for a lot of money this week, and Lord knows I'd had like such a slow week, I needed it. So like I remember like it was happening, it hurt, and I said, hey dude, can we not? That kind of hurt. And that wasn't respected. They tried again. Hey dude, can we not? That kind of fucking hurt. I remember it was just like, boom, money put on a desk. Can I carry on now, please? And I looked at the clock. I remember this like it was fucking yesterday, bro. I looked at the clock and I saw the clock and it was ticking, tick, 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 tick. And all I thought to myself was, you have half an hour until this particular session is over. You've made enough to pay this bill. Just get through it and go home. So my physical comfort was put below the financial reward it was that I was going to get if I just endured. And I just realized literally that day, I never went back after that day. Literally that day was when I realized not enough money is worth my soul. So for me, in my head, as a person who used to work in a work industry and has definitely used my as a way to open certain doors and, you know, alleviate certain pressures in my own personal life, you are losing control. You do eventually lose control, and I'm here for sex work. I'll do your thing and I'll support you into the ends of the earth as long as you are doing it safely. But you do eventually lose control. You think you're in control, but you do eventually lose control. You do eventually make choices that are based on the financial gain it is that you will have, rather than what feels right. And my physical discomfort was worth enduring in order to make sure that the light stayed on. And then it was that day that I realized that I'd much rather sit in darkness I don't give a fuck about bills. I don't ever want to have to go through that again. So whilst I will say that I am like literally, I feel like I'm literally the biggest feminist. Like, fucking do you, babes. I'm with you 100%. Just don't ever let it take control. And I feel like once you get to a point that you are willing to not just have your certain clients that you work with, certain relationships that is that you've built, and, you know, a smoothly running transactional relationship with multiple men, when you allow yourself, in my humble opinion, we are getting to the point of allowing yourself to be abused, I worry. And also another thing is that like she was also talking with Andrew Tate and basically saying that like she believed that like the women who had been speaking about Andrew Tate and saying like all of these allegations of R word and all this kind of stuff are liars.
I think men, if they speak out, they literally don't have a word against women nowadays, especially if you there is a lot of men that get away with it, and that's terrible. But there's a lot of girls that just haven't got the right way, and the next day they cry. And I'm not saying that's all women. It does happen. It happens regardless. But like blaming Andrew for that, it's just girls that want attention. Those girls come forward like, oh my God, I'm the girl that Andrew Tate raped. Their Instagram will shoot through the roof. They'll get paid. They'll probably get some sort of clothing brand deal because it's, oh my God, it's women empowerment. Look, you spoke out against someone that's, you know, so hated. They'll be credited, even though their stories are fake. They're the ones that will get praised.
100%.
That made me so sad, because even if I wanted to be on Bonnie Blue's side in any capacity, with, you know, the freedom and liberation of women and us being able to do what we want with our bodies, it doesn't matter if you feel uncomfortable about it, you should be able to do what you want. The other part was like, you're saying that you're making this a more safe environment by letting men do trial and error, but then dismissing the claims of a person that you have never met a day in your life. You don't even know this girl. And it makes me worry that because she has taken things so far in terms of what is entertainment in this entertainment industry, of how she is willing to utilize her body, that if something terrible did happen, like that fateful night that happened to me when my boundaries were crossed and I, you know, consented, like I can't say that that guy R-worded me, but I consented, but it was still an abuse of myself, right? I worry that if she was to be R-worded, because she has denied somebody else's allegations, again, a woman that she does not know, and a story that I'm very much sure that she's unfamiliar with. This is the woman who turns around and says, I don't even listen to politics, I don't get involved, no. And that tells me all I need to know.
I've basically been a community worker.
Absolutely.
For example,
do you vote?
Not, to be honest, I don't really know what's going on.
Okay, so do you vote?
No.
Okay, she's perfect. she's out here. She's sucking. She's sucking. She's not voting. This is the kind of women we need. This is done. If
you're not listening to politics, if you're not tuned in with what is going on in the world and the things that can affect your lifestyle, then you're not tapped in. And she really is not lying about that, and she's not clued in on what is going on in this universe, and she doesn't vote and all of this kind of stuff. What that lets me know is that she likely doesn't know the full situation that's been going on with Andrew Tate, and for her to deny another person makes me sad, because should the roles ever get reversed, should a man ever overstep your boundaries and you are alone and you have to deal with the physical and emotional torment that you might go through in a situation like that, you might not have people believe you, because it's easy not to believe you because you didn't believe other people. You've set a standard now. It's like, now it's going to be like the boy who cried role. Do you get what I mean? Now people are going to look at not just you having the petting zoo, not just you sleeping with over 1,000 men in a day, not just all of these wild, crazy, viral escapades. They're also going to put that with, yeah, well, when Andrew Tate's victims came forward, she said she didn't believe them. So why the fuck should we care? And it's a sad situation, but I would also understand why people would think that way. It was just like, I don't know, it's just such an odd interview. And if you ever get the chance to watch the full thing, I will leave the link in the description box down below. Definitely go take a look at it. But when it comes to Andrew Tate, he did a 180. He let the guest do the talking, so much so that he was able to show his rhetoric for what he thinks society will become if we allow women to be so liberated, and for the liberated person, quote unquote, to talk themselves into a fucking corner. It was very interesting. It would be a very interesting thing to watch if you're into psychology, if you're into human psychology and how the brain works, and, you know, the art of war and all of those kind of things. You will definitely find that podcast interview very interesting. So definitely go and take a look at it. It'll be linked in the description box down below. But I just thought I would mention it it because it was like, I don't know what side I lie on. Because whilst I do support women do whatever the fuck it is that they want with their body, and whilst I do understand her ethos of, you know, allowing men the space for trial and error and what she believes to be a public service, I also then, hand in hand, think, fuck the public service if you don't believe women when they talk either way. So it was just quite an interesting one for me. I don't really know where I stand. And it's very difficult for me to watch something and understand it, but also not have a real opinion. Like, I don't know where I stand. So maybe you guys in the comment section can make it a lot more clear where it is that you guys stand with this and give me your thoughts and opinions so that I can probably formulate a much better opinion than, I don't know, it was just kind of weird, huh? So that was that story. Let's move on to the next story of today. Okay, so next up we have Nicki Minaj. Now, I'm not going to be speaking too heavily about Nicki Minaj, only because she's going to be my next video topic on my main channel. So a lot of what I'm discussing here is stuff that I'm going to be discussing in detail. However, this Paige Christie show outline was from 2 weeks ago because I've been trying to film this episode for like 2 weeks. So it's from 2 weeks ago. And the first time I filmed this, I had my thoughts and opinions and all that kind of stuff. And then it's since developed and now it's turning into a full video. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but Nicki Minaj is losing her absolute ever-loving mind. Okay, so Nicki Minaj is losing her ever-loving mind and her fans are turning on her. Not a lot of fans, but her fans are turning on her. Now, before the Barbs come into the comment section and say stuff like, oh, you're a Nicki hater, I'm letting you know now, I am Nicki's #1 biggest hater. I am her biggest op. Don't come in here and tell me that I'm biased because you are correct. I am. Okay, it's not that I've always disliked Nicki, and Nicki has been a huge part of my childhood. There are Nicki songs, Nicki raps that I know inside and out, upside and down. I fly with the stars in the skies. I am no longer trying to survive. I believe that life is a prize, but to live doesn't mean you're alive. Don't worry about me and who I fire. I get what I desire. Girl, you can't even tell me when Moment for Life comes up. That's my song, that's my shit. And I'm going to be rapping it bar for bar, word for word. Wait, fixate. Which bitch you know made $1 million off a mixtape? That was just a keepsake. Bought the Louis presidential briefcase. Never been a cheapskate. I'm in the Hawks. I ain't talking about the peach state. Man, for Pete's sake, scratch that sweepstakes. Ha 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 ha. Fuck, I look like ho. I look like yes, and you look like no. I'm a bad bitch. I ain't never been a mixed breed on a diet, but I'm doing donuts in the 6-speed. Bitch, that girl can rap. Okay, huge part of my childhood, huge part of my teen years. Will always respect Nicki Minaj for what it is that she has done for the rap industry. That will never be understated nor overstated, okay? That shit is #1. She has been fantastic for rap, especially for female rap. And praise be where praise be. The girl is fucking crazy. I don't know what has happened. What has happened in the past couple of years? And I think it's that man, quite frankly. I think it's that man. Something is going on with her and Kenneth. I don't know if it's they've been talking about. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the situation is. But something has changed. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm tired of playing by the rules of somebody else's game. Like, that's where we're at. We're at alpha, bitch. We're at alpha, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with that lady. Like, she's talking about Jay-Z, Desiree Perez. She said some of the most batshit crazy things a couple of weeks ago. She was saying that Twitter got rid of the likes feature so that they wouldn't be able to see what she's liking, so her fans couldn't see what she's liking. Are you okay, ma'am? Are you okay, ma'am? Everything that's not working. She hopped into a live stream. If I've got the video, I'll post it right now. The woman hopped into a live stream, right? And she was saying that she had low amount of people who were in the live stream. And she believes that something was going on with the Instagram live because of Rock Nation and Jay-Z, and they were trying to silence her. She genuinely believes that the reason that she has got little engagement, low reception, just all of that kind of stuff is because people are out to get her, because people are trying to destroy her.
Surprise. What a surprise. The amount of people on Instagram is remarkably low. I wonder who's behind that. I wonder who's afraid.
And you gotta remember, Nicki Minaj has had so many ops. There's been a lot of Remy Ma, Lil Kim, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, girl, every girl, Ice Spice, every girl who has briefly came into the fray when it comes to female rap. If they did not go ahead and kiss the ring and then proceed to open a vagina, bust it out wide open and slurp that thing, she was not paying attention to them. She was either paying them dust or being shady because they never kissed the ring first. It's like their access to female rap has to go through her, which is a bizarre concept. And before it was, it's Cardi's record label are trying to ruin me. It's the people that Cardi's running with. It's Atlantic Records. It's Island Records. It's these, but now it's Rock Nation. Now it's Parkwood. Now it's Beyonce. Now it's Jay-Z. Now it's literally everybody. And some of her fans, some of the older barbs, and this is where just us older millennials come into it. We're turning around. When I say we're, I mean older millennials. I've never been a barb, but we're turning around and going, Nicki, you're not okay. Nicki, you need some help. So take a look at some of these videos that people are saying about just Nicki she's just not acting okay. She sounds fucking crazy.
I'm going to say this because ain't nobody saying it, but something is not right with Nicki Minaj. I'm sorry. I've been watching my good sis on the internet too long for me not to know something is up. Something is not right with my good sis. She ain't never act like this. And I don't know if that man got her doing something strange for a piece of change, but ever since that man showed up, she has been off, and y'all want to keep arguing about who's the queen of rap. That don't matter right now. My good sis is not right in the head, and that's obvious. That's obvious, even based off of how she act on Twitter and all that. That shit not right. Y'all trying to act like she be eating bitches up. No, she's having a manic episode. Y'all need to help her. She needs help. You cannot convince me otherwise, friends. Something is not right with her. Nicki ain't been right since she been with that man, and I'm dying on that hill because my good sis ain't act like this. When she was sitting out there with Meek Mill, she wasn't acting like this. When she was with Safari, she wasn't acting like this. When she got with that man, she started acting like this. That man got that girl doing something strange for a piece of change, and I don't know. Y'all need to get my good sis help. Y'all need to stop worrying about who's the queen of rap and get this girl some help.
And I'ma just say it because y'all won't. Nicki Minaj, now you need to shut the fuck up, girl. You are so fucking delusional.
The pink wig lady is crashing out saying that, Rock Nation is trying to sabotage her when we all know, even her fans know, she sabotaged herself. Let's be honest. Between her and Cardi beefing, and I just feel like that was the tip of the iceberg of bad shit that came afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Because then she married that man with a questionable past. Okay, her and Megan fell out, and then she released Bigfoot. That didn't help anything you have going on. And then y'all know she was crashing out behind her man, and that also tarnished her empire as well. Her beefing with damn near every female artist that came out after Cardi. Y'all can't convince me on no given day at no given time that she is not the problem. Because why is everybody else cool with people like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Lotto, and everybody get along except for this one lady? And I feel like the final nail in her career coffin was her beefing with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Yes, I feel like he's a questionable man, right? And I don't really care for him. But I don't think them people care enough to try to go out of their way to tarnish her name or tarnish her brand when she's doing a good enough job by herself.
Once again, I humbly come to you letting you know that if I was a celebrity, I would just be better at it. Y'all can make me rich and famous in peace. I would never embarrass y'all the way that Nicki Minaj embarrasses me. Because as the representative of the delegation of barbs who are disappointed, I'm ready to resign the position. I'm ready to give it the fuck back. Because you know where the fuck I would be if I believed somebody stole $200 million from me? You know where the fuck I would be if I believed that somebody was money laundering or embezzling from my record-setting tour? If I believed that somebody was orchestrating a scheme so grand that they were shutting down my station heads and my Instagram lives and wherever the fuck, I would be in a court of law. Girl, you ever try to read a tweet from that lady? The most incoherent shit you've ever seen in your fucking life. You would think that you have the cognitive gap. But that's the problem with her. That's the problem with her. She just wants to cause scenes and run her mouth and then try to act like we're crazy for making her out to be the problem when she is falling out with everybody under the goddamn sun. Like I said in the last video that I made about the bitch a year and a half ago or whatever the fuck it was, I don't need the bops anymore. I promise you I don't. I promise you I don't. I'm so sick of the dissonance between this is one of the best rappers alive and this is the craziest bitch alive. I'm not doing one or the other. I'm going to choose.
So as you can see from those videos, there are a bunch of different Nicki Minaj fans who are saying like, listen, I'm a fan, I've been here since day dot, but baby girl, it's too much. However, one of the biggest issues is that keeps getting discussed over and over is that Nicki Minaj has a newer generation of fans, like people who are Gen Z age, who enjoy Nicki Minaj. And because they enjoy Nicki Minaj, and some of them literally have been raised on her, right? They allow her to feed into her delusions. Like tweets like this allow Nicki Minaj to feed into those delusions. She now believes them to be true. So she's not listening to people who are saying, I don't know about all of that. These delusions are now manifesting and becoming reality for her in her brain, because now there's BARBZ who are saying there's nothing that she could ever do wrong. This consensus that you can enjoy, that you can't be a Barb unless you unequivocally agree with Nicki Minaj at all times is absolutely insane. Is absolutely insane.
You are not a Barb. I absolutely hate those videos where girls come on here and they be like, I'm a Barb, but the way that Nicki's acting, and they start talking shit about the way Nicki Minaj is behaving on the internet. I understand that we don't have to agree with everything that she does to love her music. However, we don't talk shit about our family in mixed company. You don't get on the internet and talk shit about someone you admire. Even if it's just like, you're not a Barb, just say you like her music, because there are levels, okay?
And it's sad because she's going to end up fucking up her legacy. Some of the stuff it is that she said about Lil' Kim and Lil' Kim being paranoid and all of this kind of stuff are all things that were prophesized is now her legacy. Nicki Minaj is one of the greatest rappers of all time, but all we are constantly speaking about is not her music, but the stupid shenanigans that surround her life. And it's sad. It's sad watching her as a person who, you know, grew up with Nicki Minaj and seen her become all of the things that she prophesied that she should never be. But I feel like the BARBZ are waking up. I feel like a lot more people are waking up. If you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on a deeper level when it comes to Nicki Minaj, I also have an old Nicki Minaj video from last year. It is 3.5 motherfucking hours long, so definitely go and take a look at that. I will leave that in the link in the description box down below to check out for yourselves. But yeah, Nicki Minaj is kind of she's just kind of been losing it, and people are clocking it now. So from one celebrity that people are suspecting is on drugs to another celebrity that people are suspecting is on drugs. Yes, we are going to be talking about Justin Bieber. Now, realistically, I don't necessarily have much to say about Justin Bieber, but I know that a lot of you guys, especially on my last video, I had like several comments saying for me to cover Justin Bieber in his most recent crash out. Justin Bieber is giving to me like he needs help. A lot of people are saying it's the Diddy trial that has made him spiral so much, and people are, you know, making very wild assumptions of his affiliation with P. Diddy and, you know, the things it is that he may or may not have done to him as a child. All I say is if the boy said that it never happened, let it go. We need to stop talking about that now. Even myself, that's literally the last time I'm going to say it. Because I feel like it's ridiculous to keep bringing something up. Because it's either not true and it's mad annoying that he's having to do this because he probably doesn't want to defend, you know, a predator. But he doesn't want to put lies out there that like literally don't exist. Or the other option is that these things did happen to him and he's not ready to talk to us about it, and that is completely his fucking prerogative. Okay, you don't get to decide when somebody decides to process their fucking trauma. So in my head, I'm just like, okay, cool, right? That's it. We're not talking about that anymore. That's one of the reasons that people think that he's crashing out. Another one of the reasons that people think he's crashing out is because Selena Gomez got engaged. And when Selena Gomez got engaged, a lot of events took place shortly after, was just him not looking great and seemingly spiraling out of control. There was a thread that was left by a Selena Gomez fan, so take this with a pinch of salt, and they were basically saying that he's been crashing out since Selena Gomez got engaged engaged to Benny Blanco. Here are a few of those posts on the screen so that you guys can take a look and make the decision for yourself whether you think that it has anything to do with Selena, and if it is a coincidence that these things have happened after the, you know, announcement of their engagement or marriage or whatever. I'll leave that up to you.
I really think that Justin Bieber has a trauma bond when it comes to Selena Gomez. A lot of people are talking about how it seems that Justin Bieber shaded Selena Gomez's engagement today on his Instagram. And I honestly feel like everything that we have been seeing from Justin Bieber lately is literally because he cannot move on. And it's actually so sad. So we are about to deep dive why I think that right now. Justin Bieber posted this on his Instagram today that said, girls on social media when they get engaged. And a lot of people believe that this is shading Selena Gomez's engagement to Benny Blanco. And in my opinion, I think this is 100% correct. I feel like Justin Bieber feels really guilty that he was unable to mend his relationship with Selena Gomez. Justin Bieber even admitted that he treated Selena Gomez like crap because he was dealing with active addiction at only 19 years old because of his childhood fame and everything that he was going through. And I feel like Justin Bieber really has big regrets over this. Justin Bieber posted this huge post on Instagram a couple years ago after Selena Gomez came out with her documentary, and it talked about her time with Justin Bieber. He said it's hard to get out of bed in the morning with the right attitude when you are overwhelmed with your life, your past, your job, responsibilities, emotions, your families, your finances, and your relationships. When it feels like there's trouble after trouble after trouble, you start foreseeing the day through the lens of dread and anticipate another bad day. Cycle of feeling disappointment after disappointment. Sometimes it can even get to the point where you don't even want to be alive anymore, where you feel like it's never going to change. I can fully sympathize with you. I could not change my mindset. I am fortunate to have people in my life that continue to encourage me to keep going. You see, I have a lot of money, clothes, cars, accolades, achievements, awards, and I was still unfilled. You notice the statistics of child stars and the outcomes of their lives? Insane amount of pressure and responsibility put on a child whose brains, emotions, frontal lobes aren't even developed yet. And you add the pressure of stardom, it does something to you that is quite unexplainable. You see, I didn't grow up in a stable home. My parents were 18 and separated with no money, still young and rebellious as well. As my talent progressed and I became ultra successful, it happened within a strand of 2 years. My whole life was flipped on its head. I went from a 13-year-old boy from a small town and being praised left and right by the world with millions saying how much they loved me and how great I was. Rationality comes with age, and so does your decision-making process. One of the reasons why you can't drink until you're 21. Everyone did everything for me, so I never learned the fundamentals of responsibility. So by the point I was 18, with no skills in the real world, with millions of dollars and access to whatever I wanted. By 20, I made every bad decision that you could have thought of and went from being one of the most loved and adored people in the world to the most ridiculed, judged, and hated person in the world. And went on to say that he started getting into heavy substances at 19 and abused all of his relationships. Became resentful and disrespectful to women and angry. I became distant to everyone who loved me, and I was hiding behind a shell of a person that I had become. Selena Gomez also talked about her relationship with Justin Bieber and said that she experienced emotional abuse in her relationship with him. This whole thing is so sad. I feel like that is why Justin Bieber is holding on so tight when it comes to Selena Gomez, because he regrets how he treated her. And no, it's not right, because she deserves to move on and she deserves to be happy, but it's also very sad and terrifying to see everything that Justin Bieber is going through, and it's almost like he's going back to that time. What caused their breakup? I think Justin Bieber's problem is he never forgave himself for how he treated Selena Gomez, and he's unable to get over that. And he even admits that he jumped into another marriage thinking that it was going to solve all of that trauma that he has.
Let her know prior to the tour when we were hanging a lot. I said, listen, I'm still really hurt and still trying to figure out my way, and I'm not ready to make a commitment to you in a way that, you know, I just don't want to say something and do the opposite, because I was at the point where I'd done that in the past, and I just was like honest with her. It was like, I'm not in a place to, be faithful and all this sort of stuff that I wanted to be, but I just wasn't there yet. And
what was hurting you at the time? You said you were still hurt.
I think I was just hurt from my previous relationship. I think I still was dealing with a lot of unforgiveness and all that sort of stuff. So, to be honest, I don't think I even knew what I was really struggling with at the time. I don't think I knew I was dealing with unforgiveness. I was just in a place where I knew I didn't want to, tell her one thing. And, I felt like she respected me at the time. And I had a lot of respect for her. I just got married. I hit a little bit of an emotional breakdown because I thought marriage was going to fix all my problems. Wow. And it didn't.
Bieber getting candid with Apple Music's Ebro Darden about the emotional baggage he brought into the relationship and how it took a toll.
It's hard sometimes to look in the mirror and really have to realize maybe you're not the person that you necessarily thought that you were. That's just a result of trauma and life circumstance.
I have to remember that the breakup between him and Selena and his marriage to Hailey Bieber was not long in between, and he was only 24 years old. It's sad to see Justin Bieber crashing out like this. You can tell that this man is hurting. This man needs help. A lot of people are assuming that he might be dealing with substance abuse issues, and if he is, it's like he's falling back right into the demons where he was, which are the reasons why him and Selena Gomez broke up.
However, what I did want to move on and talk about is that Gen Z seems to be absolutely flabbergasted at how popular Justin Bieber is. So if you guys aren't aware, Justin Bieber came out with a brand new album. No promo, no rollout, no nothing. Bam, here's your 23-track album. Now, I haven't had a chance to listen to the album myself. I've heard it's really good. Some people are enjoying it. And I think first day streams are 200,000 streams or something like that. Huge numbers for 1 day of streaming, especially on an album with absolutely no promotion, no rollout, no marketing, no nothing. And people, especially millennials, have been hopping online and saying, oh my God, this is amazing, Justin Bieber. I can't believe he came out with an album. It's been so long. We love him. Da, da, da. And so not only are Gen Z surprised by his popularity, but they seem to also be extremely surprised by how many people are his fan. I think because we've heard so much about the relationship between him and Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber and all of this kind of stuff, people, I guess they didn't see him as the prize, quote unquote, that he is, because all of these women have kind of stayed in relevancy, whereas, Justin Bieber, he's kind of taken himself a little bit further away from the limelight in more recent years. So when he dropped an album and everyone went nuts for it, Gen Z was like, what, you all love Justin Bieber? Girl, they were not here for the I will never say never. They were never here for the never say never, girl. They were never here for the never say never. That's like asking a younger millennial about the impact of One Direction. I mean, I'm sorry. baby girl. These are huge freaking names. I'm a little bit too old for that myself. My boy bands were like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. I'm a 90s kid, so I'm in a different generation. But yeah, the kid was huge. The Justin Bieber was like the Beatles were to the 60s, my guy. It was a huge deal. So people were really surprised that he was able to pull those numbers even today. And I think you should never doubt that boy. There's one thing you can say all kinds of things about Justin Bieber, things that he's said in the past, things that he's done in the past, his entitled behavior when he was a younger star. But one thing you can never say about Justin Bieber is that boy is not talented, because that is a lie. The boy can sing. And that's why black folks fuck with him too, because we fuck with Justin Bieber because Justin Bieber can sing. Shall I tell you what song I really like? That song with him and Chris Brown from back in the day. Oh God, sad times, Chris Brown. When we could enjoy Chris Brown. But yeah, he had that song that you have that smile, I'll be right next to you. And I'll be here when I'll never be cold or lonely. Fucking tune, bro. I'm gonna have to listen to that in the car on the way home. But anyway, Justin Bieber is out here smashing records with his album. He's doing great. No promo. Wow, crazy. Out of absolute nowhere. Gen Z are completely flabbergasted that he has a big name like that. And we are here to remind you that Never Say Never took over the fucking universe. I see that white suit combo with the purple hoodie and the swiffing hair in my dreams with the little mic and the hat. Oh my God. But anyway, with that being said, let's get into the final story. So from one person who completely shocked the world with an out of the blue album, we have another person who completely shocked the world with 3 out of the blue lawsuits. Let's get into Ethan Klein. Okay, so we should know this by now. Ethan Klein is now doing lawsuits. Ethan Klein is handing out lawsuits faster than my doctor will hand out depression prescription medication. So just to give you a brief TLDR of how this whole situation came around, Ian, aka iDubbbz, he did a content cop on Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein was not expecting this to be the case. I was completely flabbergasted to find out that his ex-dear friend would do him so bad. So Ethan Klein decided to do a content nuke, which is his version of the aforementioned content cop, on his dear friend iDubbbz, and decided to copyright the video before it went live, as in an official copyright. Obviously, when you release original material, you have the IP and you are the copyright owner. However, if you would like to litigate somebody, you do have to register that copyright, or it's better, shall I say, you don't have to, but it's better for your case if you have the copyright registered. What ended up happening was on the H3 snark, I don't know, is it even a H3 snark anymore? I don't even know what it's called. Is it like H3... Is it like leftovers? I don't know. Something like, God, I'm not in that space anymore. I promise you, those people are crazy. We'll talk about it in a bit. But on the HD Stock or whatever, they were making lists. I remember this at the time of like all of the people who were going to be streaming Ethan Klein's content nuke when it went live, basically in order to siphon views from the, original poster. And the 3 people it is that he decided to sue who restreamed his content in its entirety with little to no commentary in order to siphon views away from his channel and away from his video was Denims, Frogan, and Casey Tron. Now, I'm going to give you what I think is my humble opinion, the truth. Casey Tron should not be there. And it's not because she didn't do exactly the same as everybody else, but I've been watching Casey Tron for years. When I first started Twitch and I was like, getting into doing Twitch in the 2020s, I was looking at other content creators who did commentary so that I could see what the space was like before I joined. And Casey Tron was one of the first female commentators that I followed on Twitch because I just wanted to know how, Twitch worked, just getting to grips with it and all that kind of stuff and seeing how other people run their streams. And she is nothing more and nothing less than a stoner. I believe, and this is just my humble opinion, and people could say, oh, you're a hater, you're an Ethan Klein hater. Yes, I am. Facts. Like, let's not have discussions about things we know, and the sky is blue. I think that Casey Tron was added in so that Ethan Klein would look like he was just suing 2 Arab ladies. Whilst, yes, Casey Tron definitely hit the criteria, she's nothing more and nothing less than a stoner. I genuinely don't believe that the girl means any malicious intent at all. I think she was just there for collateral damage. I think the whole idea is that Casey Tron will break first and she will issue a public apology, leaving the other women to the wolves. And I hope that is the case, quite frankly, because I'm not a big fan of Frogan, and I am definitely not a big fan of Denims either. I feel like what has happened is that if you are opposing Ethan Klein, you instantaneously, for some reason, have to enjoy the other side. Like, people absolutely lost their mind when I said that I don't like Hassan Piker because I find him rude. That's not a real reason. You can't dislike Hassan because he's... No, I can. And did. Like... It's so fucking bizarre. And let me tell you, the reason that I start talking about Ethan Klein is not because I don't... Okay, I'm just gonna be real and just say what I fucking think. Why do we give a fuck about what Ethan Klein thinks about Israel versus Palestine? Why do we give a fuck about what Ethan Klein thinks about Israel versus Palestine? Why do we give a fuck about what Ethan Klein thinks about Israel versus Palestine? This ain't no mover, no shaker, no person who can change the world. Bitch, it's Ethan Klein. He rumbles rambles and he rambles and just says absolutely nothing for hours on end on a podcast whilst making really inappropriate jokes. The guy who's made sexually inappropriate jokes towards various different minority categories, this is the guy who we're listening to on Israel versus Palestine, whose views on Israel versus Palestine you believe to be so harmful. If you guys spent, and I'm talking to all you motherfuckers out there who literally have no fucking things to do in your life, if you guys spent as much time lobbying your fucking government as much as you spend lobbying Ethan Klein, I swear to God you would have a better time. What are you doing? What are you doing? He's so insignificant. It is such a stupid thing to do. And this has been something that's been long-standing and going on for years. Bad empanada, fucking shut up. Why? Why Ethan Klein? Who gives a fuck? Who gives, if you can, do something elsewhere. Why am I not gonna fucking spend my time focusing on one person's opinion? One person's opinion? We all know that the world overwhelmingly stands by Palestine. 80% of us, it is our government that's not listening. It's the UK government that's not listening. The US government that's not listening. The European Union that's not listening. But we care about Ethan Klein's fucking opinion? Who cares? Who cares that a person who was indoctrinated into a certain idealism is now thinking to themselves, this is the way that my worldview is, and I'm so confused when confronted by a society that doesn't believe the same as me. Yeah, that's what happens when you're involved in a fucking cult. It took me several years of not being a Jehovah's Witness for me to realize what it's like to not be a Jehovah's Witness. Sometimes being confronted with the real world will take some time to get used to. Ask any Amish person who had to leave the Amish community so that they could see the world for several years, and ask them what it felt like being confronted with a much more modern society. I bet it was fucking weird, bro. I bet it was fucking weird. So in my head, I'm just like, get over his opinion. Out of all of the people's opinions there is to, dissect, Ethan Klein is not the person. He isn't even the smartest guy. Like, it wouldn't even be so bad if he was like some guy with like untapped, wisdom. No, he isn't. He's not a guy with untapped wisdom. He's a guy with an extremely large ego that is extremely fragile. When I look at Ethan Klein, I don't look at a man who exudes strength, who exudes power, who is able to, make real significant change in this universe, who has the power to do change. I look at a guy with a fragile fucking ego. And what, we're supposed to just sit here and give a fuck about this guy's opinion? Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. There are numerous different things that I think that Ethan Klein has done that is far worse than having a fucking dog-ass take about fucking Israel versus Palestine, quite frankly. There have been worse things that this dude has said, that this dude has done. So no, for me, for my personal humble opinion, the whole situation with Ethan Klein, how many people are so focused, laser focused on this one fucking dude and his opinion on fucking Palestine is absolutely insane to me. Insane. And the better energy could have been focused elsewhere. That's what I have to say about that. And if you say, oh, well, I can hate it, I can do other things at the same time, good. I hope so. I hope you are making more progress in the good old fucking fight that is going on right now in Palestine. A good old fucking fight that is going on in Congo. Good old fucking fight that's going on in Sudan. Good old fucking fight that's going on literally fucking anywhere else. Because right now, no progress is being made, but we're focused on Ethan fucking Klein. Give me a fucking break. Literally months ago, I made a video where I said that Ethan Klein was not a genocidal maniac, and I believe that he is pro-Palestine, and for some reason, you guys lost your ever-loving fucking mind. You guys lost your ever-loving fucking mind because I did not echo the same sentiment as the rest of you guys, and you guys got so fucking wildly violent and racist in the comment section towards me, racist towards me, purely because I did not hold the same sentiment as you. Grow the fuck up, you fucking insufferable. The whole lot of you, grow the fuck up. That was the moment that I realized y'all motherfuckers snarkers, y'all are tapped in the brain. Literally every single one of you are tapped in the brain. Literally in that video, the whole video was talking about fucking Trisha Paytas. Trisha Paytas, but you guys were so fucking crazy and lasered into this one thing. It reminds me very much of the time when Black Lives Matter was so fucking prevalent and everyone was like, you know, you don't support black businesses, you don't support, screaming into the abyss at the wrong fucking thing, condemning the wrong people. And it's this, I'm watching history repeat itself once again, where people are screaming performative justice for something that they are not actually actively present in. It is just the condemnation of another person for their thoughts. When this person doesn't have the ability to positively change or negatively change the thoughts and opinions of literally fucking anyone. This guy has no ability to do anything. Do I think he's leaning into a lot of things? Do I think he's intentionally winding people up? Do I think that he genuinely believes that he's right? Yes. Does it make a difference in the grand scheme of the universe? Absolutely not. You guys need to get over it. You guys need to get over it. And now all of you motherfuckers have just literally dragged yourself into a situation where now you are at legal liability to Ethan Klein of all people. And then all of this shenanigans about leveraging these lawsuits against these people in order to get other people to admit stuff. Like, he's upset with two fucking journalists, Kat Tembage and Taylor Lorenz. Why is he upset with them? Girl, bitch, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Girl, who knows? Ethan Klein don't like nobody, period, point blank, period. Who knows why he's upset with them, girl? I think it's something to do with like articles being made about Ethan Klein being a misogynist, which I feel like there's a lot of examples to show Ethan Klein being a misogynist. I don't think that that's a wild take at all. But instead of saying I'm not that person now, I've changed a lot and I'm, you know, committed to change, the guy wants to attack other people. Because why? Because Ethan Klein fucking hates everyone, just in general. That guy is so grumpy. Who is watching the podcast at this point? Who is the audience? Who is Ethan Klein's audience? I need to know. I need to know who Ethan Klein's audience is, because who's watching it now? It is literally just him, hours and hours on end, screaming about being the victim of something, the perpetual victim of everything. We should glaze over the things that happened several years ago that he has never reckoned for, that he has never said anything about, that he has never apologized for, that he has never atoned for. But we should look at him as a victim right now. Fuck your victimhood, bitch. Fuck it. Fuck your victimhood. I don't give a fuck. The whole thing is becoming annoying. The whole thing is becoming extremely tiresome. But he's upset with two women who made articles I don't give a fuck. The two women who are fucking journalists or whatever. And he's upset with them. So he threatened to sue somebody else called Sean the Black, who is also another streamer who was in the aforementioned list that was posted on the Star credit, as a way to not prove himself to become a misogynist. He included a male in the lawsuit to not make everybody believe that he was a misogynist. Now, he later says that this is a troll, but does this not make you think, at least? You know my earlier point about Casey Tron being added in because he didn't want to look like he was attacking two Arab women? Does that not make a little bit more sense now? Because Casey Tron to me was just like the wildest one, because I was like, Casey Tron? Girl, she don't do nothing but smoke weed. And he literally documented how many times the bitch smoked weed. She don't do nothing but smoke weed. Like, literally, she does nothing but smoke weed. That is the ethos of the whole fucking thing. It is 420 all day, every day. No time off, no breaks. Club, another club, another club. Like, it is... That's all she does. So in my head, I'm like, really, you're concerned about the girl who literally smokes weed? I don't think anyone was going to Casey Tron to watch her video on you like that. For real. Because if you really wanted content, like, you're not going to Casey Tron. The girl is barely alive when she's streaming in general. Why? Because she's stoned. She's stoned as she is on Space Mountain right now. What are you fucking talking about? But anywho, he decided that Sean the Black was involved. He now says that it was a troll, blah, 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 blah. But he was also using that and leveraging that in order to get journalists to apologize for him, calling him a misogynist. And we don't think that this man is just like geeked up on power. Crazy business. So here's what I think about the Ethan Klein suing Denims and all of these crazy bitches situation. Denims, you're a stupid bitch. I don't know why you fucking did it. Frogan, you're a stupid bitch. I don't know why you fucking did it. Hassan, you are still an insufferable And I bet you ain't doing shit behind the scenes. I believe Ethan 100% when he says that. Everybody else who is involved in the Star Credit, everybody else who is involved in that side, who has not had the opportunity, because I ain't even going to sit there and trip like I was like, you know, Little Miss, I've never been on the Snark. Nope, girl, I went on the Snark. In fact, I derived a lot of information from that bitch, because if there's one thing that the Snark can do, it is collect motherfucking information. But what I will say is that I knew the tide was turning when the tide was turning, and I jumped out. And I'm glad I jumped out at the time that I jumped out, because when I jumped out was just before things got motherfucking crazy. Trust your intuition, bitches. Trust your intuition. And the same way I felt when I made that video about fucking Trisha Paytas that everybody wants to fucking talk about is the same way that I think now. Now they want to call me a fucking centrist. Now they want to call me an Ethan Klein apologist. Me? With the amount of videos I've made on Ethan Klein, you want to call me an apologist? Girl, if there was a reason for me to drag Ethan Klein on any given day ending in a goddamn Y, I am dragging him. But if I don't think it's warranted, I'm just not doing it. And I'm also not going to bend at the will of people on the internet who feel like they can fucking control me. But what I will not stand up for, and the only reason that that video is down, by the way, because I don't give a motherfucking shit about what y'all motherfuckers think, the only reason that that video is down is because of how fucking racist you got. It got so goddamn bad. Like, and my researchers, all those people who were in moderating that evening, they'll tell you. I didn't even need to tell you myself. I'm sure they'll make themselves known in the comment. It got so fucking bad that my staff were turning around and saying to me, Paige, can we go to bed, please? Because moderating this is so difficult. Because it was constant. It was constant. It was insanity. And the way the way you guys immediately went to racism tells me all I fucking needed to know about you. Because guess what? Black tokens, bitches, they get spent. And I am not about to be the Snark's token. And with that being said, that is the end of today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed just like having a bit of a rant. I don't know. Tell me if you guys have enjoyed this a little bit more, like, you know, relaxed version where I'm just sat here talking and giving my rants. So let me know in the comment section down below. Today we have no sponsor, so we're just going to leave it at that. With that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day or evening, whatever the hell it is you're doing. And until next time, you beautiful, amazing, badass bitches, I'm just going to keep talking faster and faster. It's been Paige. Bye. Paige Christie Show. The prettiest girl who has a tea. Paige Christie Show. We drink it. Yeah, yeah.